Namo Shakyamuni Buddha. So today we continue to discuss about the Eightfold Paths, and last time we have discussed about the first two, the right views of life. That means we need to understand deeply about the cause and effect and the three characteristics of impermanence, suffering, and non-self. And the second one is right intentions. So before we move on to the next one, the right speech, let me review again about the right intention. So we have learned that we need to have the right intention of denunciation. That's mean uh, let's go of the bad action, bad thoughts, or forgive other for mistake, or even forgive our mistake and move on. And we need to develop the patience, uh, the generosity, the love and kindness, and compassion, and so forth. So those are the right thoughts that the Buddha advised us to have instead of having the wrong thought of hatred, jealousy, and so forth. So everything we need to recognize is that they come from our own thoughts. So that's why the Buddha reminds us we need to start from these thoughts alone. And if we have the right mindset in our action and our speech will come in accord with our thoughts and vice versa. So that's why we need to rectify our mindset in a proper way. And so everything in our life, we need to see the motivation or intention behind our action or our speech to determine whether that person's uh, is good or not. So, for example, if the parents see that children approaching to the fireplace when it was burning, definitely the children they may not recognize that the fire may burn their hand, so they get thought that it's so beautiful with the mm, hot red colors, so they want to touch uh, around that fireplace, even inside the fireplace. So probably the parents they recognize the dangers that their children may encounter, and if they too far away from their children to stop them or touching the fire, they may yell loudly at their children so that their children can listen and stop. Definitely, with that type of yelling, it doesn't mean that they don't love their children, but because of their compassion and love. So that's why they want to stop their children being born. So that's the right intention, the intention of love, not intention of hatred or hate their own children when they yell. So that's why right intention is so important in our daily life. And another example that if we have intention to hit the deer on the road, that's quite different from while we rode when we're driving our car on the road, and suddenly a deer jump out, and we could not help ourselves except hitting that deer again, since we don't have intention to hit that deer, so the karma would be lesser than we have intention to shoot or to hit the deer uh, forcefully and intentionally. So again, in our daily life, whether we go to school, whether we form a relationship, whether we working or doing any kind of business, as long as we have some proper intention, we could um, receive the karma accordingly. Let me tell you a story. A few years ago, I met a man, and he said that well, he used to go to the casino to um, play with other people. So that was his livelihood. So basically, he just went around and socialized whoever he encountered, and of course, he would use the pleasant words to scam them so that they could play games with him so that he could cheat him. He could cheat them. So again, even he have the pleasant words, pleasant speech, uh, treat him nicely, but his intention is to cheat them, to get their money. So that's why intention is so important in every aspect of our life. So no matter what we do, we need to recognize what our intentions are. If we want to help the homeless people due to our compassion, because we see they don't have enough food to eat, water to drink, or shelter to stay when it's too hot, when it's too cold. With that kind of understanding mm, and sympathy, we step out to help them. But if we just help them because we want other people to recognize us that we are generous person, so that is wrong action, but wrong motivations. Mm. Or if someone run the office with intention to help other people, is quite different from the one that want to run the office so that they could have the power on other people. And so that's why intention is so important. uh, Whenever we do things or whenever we judge other people based on their speech or based on their act. So that's why we need to look at the intention behind the action or behind their speech. For example, the judge would make uh, the judgment on any uh, people that may have committed crimes. Of course, um, the judge need to look or understand the motivation behind those crimes, and if the criminals or killer or intruders have intention to kill or harm the victims, definitely that judge would put more heavy sentence for those killer intruders. But if they recognize as out of uh, bad intention, uh, those people harm each other, he would put lighter sentence to the offender. So again, in life, intention is so important that we need to look within before we judge how we go say and how we go act. So that's why whichever we do, whether we uh, help other people, whether we communicate with other people, we need to see if we have intention to help them or intention to harm them. So when we say things in the proper way, because we want to bring the peacefulness and happiness to other people, that's right way to do, and it's come from our right understanding of commerce, or it's come from our right intention to help other people to um, bring peace and happiness to them. And so when we have intention to harm others, we may use techniques, a tactic, a scam to harm others. For example, the hackers, the scammer, uh, especially the hackers, they may send some malicious email um, that may look like our families or friends' email. So when we click on that malicious email, will spread the virus into our computer, and they could control our computer. So again, with intention to steal our personal informations. That's why they send those malicious email. So again, with that bad intention, definitely they bring the harm and suffering to others. But on the other hand, if we have loving kindness and compassion toward other people, no matter what we do, no matter what we say, we always try to uh, help others, like the mothers, whether uh, she scold their children, or she take care of their children, or her children. Uh, she still always think about their children first. So again, that's why we need to recognize how important his intention is. Whenever we do things, we need to re-examine, recollect how we have motivations, whether that's good motivation, proper motivation, compassionate motivation, loving kindness motivation, and so forth. With that type of motivation, we would have uh, the peaceful action and speech accordingly. So in life, we need to recognize us, especially when we do business. If we want to help ourselves, our employees, and our customers, definitely we would keep in mind that no matter what we do, we will always uh, have good motivation to help ourselves and others instead of cheating others. Uh, and of course, eventually they would find out, and there's no way for us to do business with them anymore. So whoever do business with honesty uh, would be successful than the one that cheat their own customers or oppress their own employees. So that's why it's so important to have that kind of right mindset. Mm. And when a officers uh, try to stop uh, uh, a murders who who try to kill other people or have killed other people. And so with the intention that stop that murders, so they may shoot that criminals and murderers to stop them from harm others. So that is the right intention, even it involved with the killing, but still in our views, we try our best to minimize the harms on others. So regardless of the situation, we need to um, uh, use our proper intention or good motivation to help other people in any circumstances. So that is we review about the right intention. Now we move on to the next one, what we call right speech. And last time we discussed about the reason why people tell lie. In the right speech, the Buddha remind us that we need to restrain ourselves from telling lie, restrain ourselves from having gossiping, high speech, idle chatter, because those uh, speech may bring the harms and suffering to ourselves and others. So, like last time we discussed briefly some reason why people tell lie, and now let's us review one more times some definition of lie. So lies mean to make an intentionally false statement. That's mean we try to uh, say something is not right intentionally. If we don't have intention to tell lie, that's no big deal. But if we have intention to cheat other people, to have the false statement, that is what lie is about. And also to make an assertion that is believed to be the false to some others with intention to deceive the others about the content of the assertion. So again, if we have intention to cheat, to deceive the others, other people about the content of the information, that's what slide about. So basically, to make a believable statement to another people with intention that uh, other people would believe those statements to be true, and the intention that other person believe that statement truthfully. So anyway, so line involved with deceiving or coerce uh, any person to have continue to have a false belief. There is truthful belief to be false by person intentionally. So anyway, the meaning is when we put out a statement, and if that statement is false, it's not the proper one, because we want to cheat other people, because we want other people to believe that statement, that contents, that information are true, but somehow uh, those information would not be true. So that's why it's a lie. And here, let me show you some charts about lying. So here, what do we believe lies do? Our gaze, nervous, incoherence, body movement, facial expression, inconsistent, facial color, pose. So when the lies say something that's untruthful or not true, so those are the reaction that we could recognize from them. Uh, and so they would have this kind of uh, mm, verbal communication in the negative way. The verbal immediacy, detail, logical structure, uh, passivity, verbal involvement, contextual embeddings as the risk in risk of responsiveness, uncertainty, nervousness, vocal intention, tension, frequency, negative statement. So this involved with the liars. We could recognize them. And they say that 60% of people lie during 10 minutes conversation. The average person told 2 or 3 lies in that minutes, 10 minutes. So women most often lie to make others feel better. On the other hand, men often lie to make themselves feel better. So this is all kind of reason why people tell lie. And according to uh, St. Augustine hierarchy of lies, so it starts with lie in religious teaching. Let me show you this chart. Um, lie in religious teaching. Number 2, lies that harm others and help no one. Uh, lie that harms others and help someone. Lie told for the pleasure of lying. So again, number 1, some people make up some story about the spiritual life or religious life. Um, the second level is the lie that have intention to harm others and help no one else. So, like the hacker or a scammer bring the harm to other people. And number 3, lies that harm others and help someone else. For example, when criminals may run into your house, and of course, the police look for them, and if that criminals were our relatives, and if we have intention to protect them, definitely when the police knock the door and ask whether we see that criminal yet or not. So if we try to protect our relatives, so we say no, I didn't see, I have not seen that person. So we help that criminals would harm the officers and other people who are looking for them, and lie told for the pleasure of lying. So basically, people just have the habit of telling lies. They love to lie, which everything they say is untruthful. And the next level is lie told to pleasure others is smooth discourse. For example, if we visit our grandparents or the elderly people, and we may know that they would not live too long because of illnesses. So we may say, oh, well, you would live forever. You would live more than 120 years old. You're still healthy and so forth. So we just tell something that's try to make them be comfortable instead of saying the truth. Oh wow, you're too old. One day, sooner or later, you have to go. You cannot handle this life. Of course, if we say that, it be hurtful to them. So again, this life we try to say is so that we helpful would help output being comfortable about their own life, and lives that harm no one and that help some. So if we see a deer and the deer just jump into our gardens, and what happens if a hunter come, and of course we want to protect the deers. We would not want the hunter shoot out the deer. So we say, I don't see that deer. When the hunter asks us, where the deer? Have you seen the deer? So that's like that harm no one and help others to help the deer to escape from being hunted. Like that harm no one and save someone. This is similar case that we may say something um, wrongly, which may say lie, may tell lie, but we want to save those animals. Like that harms no one and that saves someone's purity. Again, it's similar to. Okay, so there's all kind of views that talk about the life, and definitely in Hanika traditions, there's no uh, exception for life. That's mean all traditions remind us that we need to tell the truth, not to tell lie. So in the Terran view, that the direct our intention to consequences apply than the inherent quality applies themselves. So like Jerry Bentham says that falsehood taken by itself, not harmony by all the circumstances or causes any illness, effect, can never upon the principle of utility constitute an offense at all. So this means life is not bad things if no one is hurt, uh, or if it causes more happiness than hurt it. So that is their view. So like we joke with each other, uh, and again depend upon how we view the line, but most of the time this is the negative weight should be attached to every line. Line requires explanation, truth does not. So when we tell lie, somehow we make a concern that other people may catch our lie. That's why we try to explain. But if we say the truth, we don't need to explain anything because truth is just the truth. We don't need to apologize. We don't need to explain anything. So there's many reasons again uh, why people tell lie. So according to psychology, they say that uh, the first reason is pro-social. That means we tell lie to protect someone, to benefit, to help others. Again, we make up a story so that we could protect someone. Uh, so again, like that story, if somehow our family members were chased after by police, and because of love or concern for our family members, that's why we may lie to the police officer that our family members or the offenders were not at home. So that's the first type, the pro-social one. And the other one is because of selfish. That means we like to protect ourselves at the expense of others. We can conceal a misdeed. For example, we may uh, have stolen uh, a laptop, $1,000 from someone else, from our family members or whoever, and we may say, "Oh, uh, I don't see that laptop, I don't see that money." But actually, we lie because we want to protect ourselves, uh, and it means it's hurtful to other people. The next one is self-enhancement. That means we lie to save our face to avoid embarrassment, disapproval, or punishment. For example, the students, they may have failed the test, but when they go home, the parents ask how they doing in the test. So they may say, "Oh, I do good. I'm doing great. I have a good score on my test," so that they would not be embarrassed. They would not be punished, uh, or yelled at by their parents. And so there's a story a few years ago. This one goes uh, uh, when she was in high school. Somehow she dropped out a lot. She used to go out to play with her friends, and their parents, because they worked so hard that they did not have time to watch over uh, their daughters. And so somehow when it's time for uh, her to graduate from high school, definitely because she skipped school a lot, there's no way for her to get the high school diploma. So again, she went online to purchase some fake diploma to show uh, to her parents, and even she faked the informations that some university accept her. So again, she went uh, to the library or somewhere else to pretend that she went to college and university. Um, that's misled her parents for a while. And of course, eventually they found out that she cheated them, and so somehow they're so mad. But later on, somehow this girl tried to get revenge and kill her own parents. So again, with this kind of line, this made them embarrassed because they want to they stay away, or they don't want to accept the realities. And the next one is anti-social. That means they want to lie because they try to hurt other people intentionally. Like if we don't see other people steal money, but we have intention to make the blame on them, or we say, "Oh, that person just stole your money," and so forth. So that's what they call antisocial. Uh, and the other reason, uh, like mm, people could not accept the realities that they fail, that they could not deal with the truth, that they fail their business, or that they fail the test, or that their friends walk away from them, and so forth. That's why they make up the story so that other people could trust them. Mm. So that's why in life we need to recognize the harmfulness of telling lie without that kind of recognition. Uh, we have tendency to tell lie repeatedly. Okay, so let me show you some video clips that people tell lie upfront or directly in front of the camera too.
watch somebody lie to your face, I mean, you're just sitting there looking at them in the eye and listening to their bullcrap, even though you know the truth. Like, dude, but personally, I hate liars. And if I find out you lied, I might just fly kick you in the head. Unfortunately, that's not always the best method because it's like illegal or whatever. That's incredible. Wait, that 0.2 pounds. That's the brick right there. Okay, and why the glass? I'm going to break that concrete slab with that glass without breaking the glass. Are you ready? I'm ready. Let's go. That's incredible. Wait, to be honest, I actually built these bricks. These are real bricks. There's no door. Check it out, baby. This guy tried to fake a heart attack to get out of court. The craziest part was, even when they found out he was lying, he still continued to act like something was wrong.
That should reflect that the defendant is slouching over the side and acts like he's sleeping because of his breath appears to be quite normal. Doesn't appear to be labored in any way. Is that a fair assessment, sir? Yes. It's not labored in any manner.
You have to applaud him for going all in. A psychic named Lori McClary was exposed on live TV when she said she could solve a missing child's case.
Show you something, okay? Does this girl look familiar? Yes, she does. I work this case.
Oh, Miss McClary, she didn't disappear.
This is a girl who, your side, was beaten, killed. This little girl is me. And you told somebody that she's dead. You didn't disappear? I'm right here. Well, that's interesting.
And honestly, Lori, the fact that you think that preying on families who lost loved ones is okay is crazy.
I don't believe she's alive. I'm sorry. I believe that it was a violent case.
I think you were hit in the head with a rock. Guys, this is what happens when you watch way too much Naruto. This guy says he can knock people out with his chi. I know I have chi in it. You can see it when the head moves. Okay, this man is officially crazy. He just used the tongue and this guy's toe position as an excuse. I have never, ever heard some shit like this. In all honesty though, guys, don't act like you never tried to Kamehameha or Rasengan on your friend or sibling. Next time, just tell them to move their tongue or keep their toes down. Maybe it'll work.
I got a gun in the head here to start creasing my skull.
So you see that the first guy, the magician, right, tried to trick people with the fake rock. So he used the cup to hit the fake rocks, but somehow the cameraman just touched that rock, and that rock just fell down. And another story that the lady, she thought that she was psychic detectors. So somehow she told other people that the listening girl was badly been to death, but actually that girl and that lady and confront her with the pictures, image of her when she was little, but in front of her, she's still alive. So again, so that's the story.
I feel that there's a path to desecrate my skull. He told me he got 2 Purple Hearts in Vietnam. That's the ribbon at the top. In the middle with the gold star. And 2 Bronze Stars, the red and blue ribbon at the top left, with a gold star and B for battle. And above those, a gold trident, the same as given to Navy SEALs. I was in naval intelligence and I was trained as a frogman. And so today you call them Navy SEALs. I was a Navy SEAL. Yeah, long time ago. I filed a Freedom of Information Act request and received Van Fleet's records. He served 3 years on the USS Rupertus. No Purple Hearts, no Bronze Stars, no Navy SEAL. You know, Jim, I gotta tell you that I know that those are fake medals. I know that you aren't a Navy SEAL. I know that those Purple Hearts are not real. Those Bronze Stars are not real. Kept from your records. Why wear those? Why embellish your service? It took Van Fleet a moment to compose himself. I spent 2 years in country Vietnam. On a ship. In country means you're on the ground. You are on the ground. We actually put boats in the water and go ashore to provide medicine and so forth to villages at home. But you were a real man, looking at a scope in a dark room on the ship. Yes. Van Fleet told me he decided to wear the medals because he felt unappreciated after returning from Vietnam. And he questioned why I even began this investigation. Why are we doing this? Look at you. What do you say to the families of those who fought and died? Who earned the medals, and you're wearing it. What do you say to the families? This would eventually happen. I didn't worry about it, and I wasn't afraid of it, and I figured, why it happened, fine, then we'll just, we'll stop. It'll go away. I'll stop doing it. That's what I had. I'm sorry.
So again, so this man, he picked that he won the medals or even Navy SEAL, but actually that's not true. So that's why another man investigate the matter, and he accept that he say that he would not pick himself to wear those medals again.
But the fact that he just kept rolling down the street like he didn't get busted is hilarious. In all seriousness, though, what if he pulled his pants off and this guy really had no legs? Then
so you see that that's meant he picked himself to lost both legs. Actually, it's not true.
This is exactly why I'm always skeptical about giving my cards to cashiers.
The cops are coming up here. They're recording check and everything. You took a copy of my card on the day in your face. You know what you did.
Honestly, if you took my card, I don't want to hear it either. Don't tell me you're sorry, because you're not.
I'm so sorry. You're sorry about what? That you went to Ralph's? You took a copy of my card here. Well, you said you were going to go get your few papers. And they got your camera in your shoulder.
When I know you're only sorry, you got caught. Be honest. Well, guys, that's it for today.
Yeah, so that's somehow some people steal others' credit cards for their personal usage. So that's why we need to be careful about when we use own credit card. Okay, so let me show one more.
It's right here. This yours? Yes, ma'am. You were lying. I just wear my purse. I promise to God, man. Check your birth and thing. It's good. It was right here with my phone. I promise to God, baby. Baby, I'm sitting right here. It is $500. Oh my God! Please don't tell me that, baby.
This $600 iPad belonging to ABC News was left behind on purpose and then disappeared. ABC News tape shows it was last seen at the airport in the hands of this TSA officer, Andy Ramirez. And then, several hours later, we were able to track our iPad using its Find Me app as it moved away from the airport, step by step, until it stopped at an address 30 miles away in Claremont, Florida, the home of the same TSA officer last seen with our iPad. 2 weeks later, we showed up to get it back from TSA officer Ramirez.
Brian Ross, Main News. I don't know if you can give me a hand here. We're looking for a missing iPad. It's an iPad. Yeah. Okay. And the tracking device shows this located right here at this address.
So this is times up again. You see that somehow this is a officer took the iPad and the ABC news anchors follow that device, the iPad device, to his home, and somehow even he didn't accept that he stole that device. Okay, so since time is up, let me stop here today, and we'll continue to discuss about this topic line. Okay. Nam mô Shakyamuni Buddha.